So today we'll start your second class on friction. That is the fifth module, and this will be your 16th class. So in the previous class, I have already discussed about the concept of friction, that how friction takes place, and how it is responsible for providing an opposing force to the motion, and also about the different types of friction. Okay, so today we'll just study about the different laws of the static friction, dynamic friction, which I've already discussed, and about fluid friction. Okay, some general laws. So I hope that you already know about this. So this will only be a recapitulation of this of your previous knowledge. Okay, so we'll start with the static friction and we'll describe the properties. So let us do it fast, and today only we'll start about the friction in bearings. So let us start with this static friction and the properties of static friction. I will say briefly that the friction always acts in the opposite direction to the opposite to that of the direction in which the body tends to move. So this friction acts opposite to the direction of motion of the body. And second point is that the magnitude of this force of friction is equal to that of the force which is enough to make the body which tends the body to move. So the force magnitude of the frictional force is exactly equal to the force which tends the body to move. So exactly equal to the force that tends to move the body. And third point is that the magnitude of the limiting friction force of limiting friction and the normal reaction is always constant. So these are the properties of static friction. Limiting friction by normal reaction is constant. Fourth point is that the frictional force is independent of area of contact. Depends on the type of surface. Okay, so these are some of the important points, important laws of static friction. Next we come to dynamic friction. So the force of friction acts in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the body. So this point is also true that dynamic friction by normal reaction is constant, and this value is lesser than this value for limiting friction. Okay, third point. We are doing these things quickly because these are only recapitulation. Third point is that the value of this kinetic friction, it decreases with increase in the speed. So the value of friction decreases with increase in speed. So these are a few properties of this dynamic friction. Come to solid friction. So force is friction force. Friction force is directly proportional to the normal load between surfaces. Normal load between surface. अच्छा, second, independent of the area of contact. Okay. Depends on the surface. Depends on the surface material. Fourth point is that it is independent of the relative velocity between the surfaces. Between contacting surface. So these are the laws of solid friction. Now I come to fluid friction and its properties. So independent of the load, so the value of frictional force is independent of the load, then the value of frictional force, it reduces with increase in temperature. It reduces with increase in temperature. Third point, independent of the material of surface. Independent of the material of the surface, and it depends on the lubricant. Depends upon the lubricant. Okay, so these are the laws of fluid friction. Now there are a few topics which I will not discuss, but you can see to these topics in any book. These are the, you have already studied this in 11th and 12th classes. The limiting friction, limiting friction, limiting angle of friction, limiting angle of friction and angle of repose. So I hope you know these things. I am not discussing these things in this class. Okay, so we will straight away move to the bearings, friction in bearings. Okay, so these are very simple things. You can see that these things in any book. Okay, and if time permits, I will discuss this in the class. Okay, so let us move to the friction in bearings. As you can see, this is the figure of a bearing. This is a journal bearing. This is the bearing. Okay, and this is the journal. As you can see that the diameter of the bearing, a journal, is less than that of the bearing, so as to permit free movement of the journal inside the bearing. Okay, so this journal bearing combination actually forms a turning pair arrangement. Okay, so this journal can move freely inside this bearing. Now suppose consider the condition in which this journal is stationary. Okay, and this journal rests on the bearing. Okay, so this is a so there will be a, when this journal will rest on this bearing, there will be a, this journal will be in contact with the bearing, and this will be a line contact. This will be a line contact. But the moment this journal starts moving, it will move with a speed, and then this line contact will no longer exist. This line contact will no longer exist. As it will move up, this journal will move up, and this line contact cease to exist, which is there when this journal is stationary or at rest on this bearing. I hope you have understood what I want to say. Now, when this journal is stationary on the bearing, this reaction force, this reaction force will act normally. This Rn will act vertically upwards at this point, at the center point. Okay, suppose this is A, the center point, so it will act normally at this center point, and this is known as the pressure point of pressure. This point A is known as the point of pressure. Okay, and this weight of this bearing and this weight of this journal, it will also act through the center point. Okay, this is W. The weight of this journal is W, and this normal reaction will act on the same line. And this is known as the point of pressure, and it will act on the same line. Now, when this journal will start rotating, suppose it rotates in this direction, then this lubricant which is present between the journal and bearing, this lubricant, okay, it will form a thin layer between this journal and this bearing. It will form a thin layer, and this will result in a greasy friction. This will result in greasy friction, and this Rn, which was previously acting at this point, it will also not act in this same position, but it will act at another point. It will act at another point, pressure point. Suppose this is over here. This Rn will act in this direction in the second case. and the pressure point shifts from A to, suppose this is B. So now this, due to this motion, now this journal is rotating in the clockwise direction, and as a result this Rn shifts, and this shifts due to the force of friction, which will tend to oppose the motion of this journal, okay, along this bearing. So it is moving in this direction, so there will be a force of friction that will act in this direction, which will oppose the motion of the journal, and the magnitude will be mu into Rn. Okay, now we shift this as okay, so this mu Rn, if we shift this, this will be like this mu Rn. Now the resultant of this frictional force and this normal reaction Rn, it will act along this direction, and this will be in this direction, and this will be R. So R is the resultant between Rn, which acts at this point B, and friction force, and the frictional force, and the angle between this R and Rn will be phi. So phi is the angle between R and Rn, and this mu is the coefficient of friction, okay. So now for uniform motion, the resultant force, for uniform motion the resultant force and the resultant turning moment on the shaft should be 0. It should be 0. So the resultant force will be 0, so the W will be equal to R, the resultant. So R must be equal to W, and the turning moment T, so it is a torque, so it will be equal to W into this distance. Suppose this distance is O, and this resultant force, if we increase it, it will cut this x-axis at suppose C. So the force into displacement, so W into OC, so this will be the turning moment. So this point is B, you know. So if we join this is phi, so this angle will also be equal to phi, vertically opposite angle, okay. So W into OB sin phi. So this OB is radius of this circle, so you can write it as small r. So W into small r into sin phi. So this will be the value of the turning moment. Now if in special case, suppose phi is very small, when phi is very small, So you can substitute this sin phi by tan phi. So in that case you can write the W into R into tan phi. So tan phi is mu. So W into R into mu. So W into R into mu. So T is equal to W into R into mu. Okay, so T is the frictional torque of a journal bearing. Okay, now if we want to find out the power wasted due to this friction. Okay, so now this shaft rotates with an angular velocity of omega. So the power wasted due to friction will be T into omega. Now you know the value of T. Okay, and omega you can write in terms of n, or the speed of the shaft, in RPM. So 2 into pi into n. This will be n by 60. Okay, where n is the speed in RPM. So this is the power that is being wasted due to friction. Okay, so this is the value for a journal bearing. Okay, there are other types of bearings also, we will discuss in the later class. Okay, but we will not derive the formulas, we will just write the power, value of torque and power for the other types of bearings, which we will discuss in the later classes. Okay, then after that we will go to friction in clutches and other things. Okay, so thank you.